We're live.
Alrighty. Welcome, everybody, back to Osborne Motor's Endurance Challenge, season number 15, week number 8, the finale here at Sebring. We're diving back into another 90-minute endurance as part of the new format that we got this season. And after 8 weeks of it, it's been growing on me the more we've gone on. I'm once again Fen Acinni back in the booth. With me, as always, is Nicholas Maynard. How are you doing this evening?
Man, I am fantastic. Ready to watch some racing, and sad that it's the last race of the season already. Can't believe it.
Yeah, certainly is. We'll have a couple of probably off weeks here, and then we'll get probably into season number 16 somewhere between now and the end of the year is going to be my guess. But we'll enjoy it while we've got it. Little under 10 minutes left in practice, in qualifying. Been a bit of an interesting one in terms of the timing towers and the championship standings coming up here in a moment. So I think real quick, we can dive into the championship battles. We're really going to see probably at least somewhat focusing on if the time and attention allows. In the pro category, we do have one between Nick Tyrrell as well as Nate Sides. And that'll be one between Nick Tyrrell, Nate Sides, and Kevin Hayes, excuse me.
Yeah.
And that'll be for, I think, pretty much a pretty close fight between Kevin Hayes and Nick Tyrrell, being about 12 points. And then 8 sides having a 2 points difference between him and Kevin. I think that whole podium can shift it up a little bit. What are your thoughts or ideas there?
Yeah, it's going to be tight. Let's see. I guess we could take a look at the points then, huh? And go down the...
good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's going to be close. We've got quite a few scenarios that we're going to keep track of tonight and do our best. Of course, one thing that it's hard to account for are the drop weeks. So, but we'll kind of call it as it happening on track, and hopefully everybody finishes high in the order so that doesn't come into play. Yeah, we got tight battles in AM and Pro. As you can see right here, we're looking at the AM leaderboard. Tom Leeson, Zach Olden, and Hayden Mamanga going to be duking it out tonight. Very, very tight battle. Anybody can still take it down, so that'll be exciting to watch. Yep, a little bit bigger of a gap here. I think Nick Tyrrell pretty much guarantees his own fate as long as he finishes, I believe it's P6 or better. I've got nothing to say. I still can't believe that happened. Oh, man.
Fantastic ending is the reference point I'll say there for those of you watching at home that are wanting to take a look back later on.
It's one to remember. What's going on in qualifying here? We got John Schwartz sitting on pole right now.
Is Nick Tyrrell listed weirdly for you too?
I don't believe so.
Okay. It doesn't seem like he has the like a identifier on Pro-Am split, which is why I'm curious.
I guess we could sort
Play
him. Yeah.
If you move him, if you go up to Luke, I wonder if he disappears off that Pro category. Oh no, maybe it's just the way that it's sorting them, since you're doing it by overall.
Yeah, it's overall right now.
Okay. Yeah. That's me then. I just can't read.
There we go. Get them split up by categories.
All is right in the world.
Mm.
Now that.
So yeah, Nick Tyrrell. What were we saying? P6?
P6, not far behind. Nate Sides currently sitting the best of those three for the battle for the championship positions. So Kevin Hayes is not far behind Nick Tyrrell either, and those two are going to be battling it out throughout, I think, most of the opening couple laps. We'll see if Kevin Hayes has a bit of a return to form, not a return to form, but has, something that he wants to prove there early on.
Yeah, with 2 minutes left here in qualifying, if those two end up starting together, that will definitely be one to keep an eye on right at the green flag. See if we have any elbows flying.
Nico Vazzolo, we've seen that Corvette in and out of the season as well. Fantastic to see him back right alongside Jonathan Schwartz in the front row. Chris Gardner going to be having a fantastic run as well. A couple more drivers looking to squeeze a lap in, such as Kevin Hayes. What you got?
I was just wondering what the track conditions were looking like, and because I'm seeing, Andrew Slovak putting up a purple sector. I was just saying the qualifying time seemed to be dropping off a bit, but not too bad. 101.
Not terrible at all.
We are in Florida.
Some pretty temperate winds, unlike some other weeks where we had pretty gnarly ones. Nick Tyrrell gonna beat out Luke Plaisance. Kevin Hayes gonna improve as well, but not gonna get up any further in the order in terms of positions.
Tom Leeson sitting P2 and AM right now. That puts himself in a fantastic position.
Told by chat that they can't hear Fen.
What?
Maybe. Speaking of Tom Leeson.
Give me a mic check, Ben.
Mic check. 1, 2.
I'm reading you in OBS.
All right. Maybe it was before we got to the opening. Oh, or maybe it's when we were in the standings. Because I think that, if I remember last week, the standings also didn't have me.
Oh, yep. Well, that was...
Anyway, I'm back now, which is the important part.
Hey, it's my rookie season.
You're still there.
Yeah. We got it.
Right. We'll get there. Keep going. I'm just appreciative that you're willing to do the production for us while I'm gallivanting across the countryside.
Man,
Either way,
we are about to take the grid.
we certainly are. Got like a couple more drivers still looking to get a lap time in. Nick Tyrrell as well as Landon Orr, I think, trying to squeeze one in before the buzzer beater, but he's going to get an off track, I think, amongst all that. That's a pretty wide one, too. I think we'll see that. Lap time come to a close. Does get up to 2 minutes, 0.414. But that will not improve his position any closer. Does tighten up the gap to Nate's sides. Only 0.2 or less than 0.2 there.
I know you can't see me right now, but I am smiling ear to ear seeing these three championship contenders that close together.
I think it's definitely going to make for a very interesting race. I think Luke Poissons is definitely going to be one kind of in the hot seat of trying to keep some sense of all this and not get involved too terribly. Only a 1-car gap between Tom Leeson and Zachary Holden as well. And a little bit of a bigger gap between those two drivers for the GT3 AM Championship. But Hayden Mamenga also looking to see if he can't increase that little gap or decrease that gap and secure his foothold on the podium as well. We didn't talk about it a whole lot earlier, but Mystery Outlanders is currently only 31 points behind the Osborne Setup Shop crew. As I think we'll get a grid here. Do you want to take us off or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll start us out.
Alrighty.
Got, John Schwartz taking it down, 159.9, followed by Nico Vizzolo, Andrew Slovak, Nate Sides, Nick Tyrrell, round out top 5, Luke Plaisance, Kevin Hayes, Mitch Buenaventura, Tim Schaefer, and Chris Gardner, top 10 right there.
Absolutely. Second rope going to be in 11th, just outside that top 10, alongside Tom Leeson, who's going to be second in the AM category. Not far behind him is going to be Ken Duvall in 13th. 14th is going to be Tony Caicedo. We got Alex Lofi going to be in 15th there. Zachary Holden going to be joining him on that 8th row of the grid. 17th is going to be Hayden Mamenga, alongside Tyler Roberts and Grayson Parks and Keith Gwinnett going to round out that top 20 of our order here this evening.
Jim Campbell, 21, Trevor Peterson, 22, Mr. Wesley Woods, 23rd, and Landon Orr, 24th. Oh, we got two more. Dale Marshall, 25th, and Dan Griffin electing to start from the back of the field and see what happens. Starting 26th.
It's always a fun time watching some of the fast drivers start from the back of the grid and see how far up the order they can get. I know Nick Tyrrell did a lot of that this season, I think, just due to kind of timing constraints. But it does make for a bit of a fun experience. I see a lot in some of the other leagues I commentate for, and it's always good fun to see the fast cars battling their way through the field.
Yeah, it puts a little bit of extra pressure. Just want to make sure you pass cleanly and not make a mistake and ruin somebody's race. And John Schwartz jump into the pits along with Dan Griffin. So
yeah, I think both those drivers opting for a pit lane start. Which does mean that Nico Vizzolo is going to lead us away, and Andrew Slovak's going to get a bit better jump as a result. Does put as well Nick Tyrrell and Nate Sides onto the same row of the grid. Should be interesting from our championship perspective. What are our final thoughts as we get ready to go racing here? What's the key? I mean, you can use the silly terms that we like to throw around in the IMSA League. What are the kind of the keys of the race, or the things that you're looking forward on from driver's side as well for that these championship contenders should keep in mind?
Yeah, man. Just watch the bumps and curbs. Sebring can toss you left and right unexpectedly sometimes. So just kind of pay attention to where you're at on track. Try to remember where the the big bumps and things are, so you can not ruin your race. It's like they're gonna be driving tight, trying to hold on to the championship, but you gotta got to kind of push that to the back of your
All right,
mind
Kevin, team orders,
and
we gotta
treat
beat
it
up
like
on
any
all these
other
Ferraris.
race, and just keep moving forward, focus forward, don't look behind you.
Heck yeah.
You hold him as long as you
Should
can.
make for a pretty fun one as well. I think Landon Orr joining the drivers on pit lane for the pit lane starts. But a pretty busy grid, 24 cars out there tonight. Fantastic drive to the end of the season for most of these drivers.
Yeah, it's been we've had some very good races this season. Pretty deep field. We've had quite a few drivers showing up every race, so it's been the best season yet, I would say. Always getting better.
What was your favorite race of the season so far?
Oh man. The first thing, as soon as you asked me that, the first thing that came to my mind, even though I don't like saying it, was the Daytona race. Just seeing all the passing going on into the bus stop, and like that was wild. That was fun.
Oh man, that never ended. That was such a fun one. We had so many drivers out for that week as well. Not that I think we had any less this time around, but so many good passes there. You know, diving into turn number 1 as well. We got a lot of good side-by-side action throughout most of that race. I think that was, in terms of like race, actual like battling for position and stuff like that, I think that was probably my favorite in terms of the racecraft I got to see out there. Portimao, obviously a super fun one, as well as some of the other races as well that season were pretty fantastic. The rain race at Spa was pretty great as well.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So, down the back stretch now, getting ready to go to green flag running here in just a moment. We'll see that pace car peel in at the end of Sunset Bend. Pretty fun track. Not exactly the shortest one on the calendar, not the longest either, but a track with a very storied history, given that its status as another airfield from World War II, one of the many, many ones we had floating around, getting a second life. It's going to come the spot for the finale this week. Pace car decides to peel in. Wait for that. There's red lights to light up for us, the green flag to drop for the drivers. There it is right there. Nico Pizzola is going to lead off the rest of the field. Andrew Slovak also going to get a fantastic run. The championship battle, however, between Nate Sides and Nick Tyrrell, going to go 2 wide, 3 wide. As Nick Tyrrell is going to lean on the door for Andrew Slovak. All three of them going to go into turn 1. Bit of contact there, but they all keep it going the right direction. Kevin Hayes going to try to pick up the spot as a result. He's going to tuck in behind Nick Tyrrell. Nick Tyrrell kind of stuck on the inside line, not really by choice, but that's where he ended up putting that car. Going to go 2 wide through turn number 2. Most of the field getting through pretty cleanly. Nate Sides going to see himself slide a little bit back as a result. He just happened to be on that outside line initially. And Kevin Hayes looking to make up the spots as well. Nico Pizzola getting a little bit caught in the dust as they all make their way down into the hairpin. Nico Pizzola not going to let him go without a fight. Kevin Hayes looking for a little bit of that over-under. Sergey Perot trying to see if he can't add his hat to the many drivers currently battling for the podium spots as they dive their way down towards Good Tower Corner here in a couple quarters time.
Yeah, great start from everybody, nice and clean. Yeah, jostling for position, looked to be settled in right here. I don't know, Pizzola maybe trying to find his way around Tyrrell here, but great start from everybody. Man, it's gonna be a long race. Buckle up.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And it's going to be, I think, a pretty fun one as well. Looking at AM championship battle. Still got about a couple seconds gap. They had about a second gap in the qualifying, but as well as a couple of pro drivers getting great starts as well. Tony Caicedo right behind Tom Leeson there in that Outlander, in the Mystery Outlander Motorsports Porsche. So he has a good line. Got a bit of the draft there. Zachary Holden also getting a draft from Chris Gardner, who's in between. The only other AM driver in between, I should say, those two championship contenders for the AM classification. Getting into Sunset Bend for the first time under speed. Everyone seeming to get through it pretty solidly. As they make their way through. Oh, I say solidly. That Sergey Perot got very slow. Most of the field diving around him. He's got a big contact with the wall there. at the end of lap 1.
Everybody seems to have still made it pretty nicely through on track. No big crashes to note, other than Sergi kind of touching the wall there and getting slowed up. Top to bottom, everybody's still running. Only 12 seconds between first and last right now.
Most of the drivers there all having a pretty solid run. Super fantastic entry point to all those drivers. They're all having a just always good to see when you can have a good, clean first lap. And I always think sets it up for a pretty successful race to know that, you know, the clean battling that we got, you know, Sebring turn number 1, not necessarily known for a very specific line that you have to take, but you have to really narrow down and zipper up quickly. As we saw, 3 wide diving into turn number 1, but still the ability to kind of see everybody come out the other side. Because oftentimes, you know, you hear 3 wide into turn number 1. It's very concerning to hear that call or to be a part of that call. So always super fun to see them come out the other side. When you're in those 3 wide situations that you can kind of sometimes get into some of the corners here. Sunset Bend is another one that comes to mind. I think Mazzolo has a brief moment and a hiccup. Do you like being in those moments, or it's one that you dread hearing the call of the 3 wide?
Oh man, yeah, you typically, I'm not gonna lie, kind of dread it because you're like, really, like, what are we doing? You know, sometimes it's inevitable, but sometimes, you know, you go 3 wide because somebody's doing something a little aggressive. But as long as you make it out the other side, you typically end up smiling, and it's like, hey, man, that was awesome. But when it goes bad, it goes terribly bad.
Yeah, it is. It is one that big lean on the door there. There's Tim Shaver and Nate Sides trying to swap positions there. Or really, Nate Sides trying to get around Tim Shaver. Luke Plaisance right behind him as well. His likes of Mitch Bonaventura. Driver we've not seen much of this season, but very tenured driver there amongst the GT3s here at OMEC. So it's fancy to see him back in the Porsche. Almost kind of come into contact with Luke Plaisance. I think he just narrowly avoided it. Only just.
Yeah, I think that was probably a nice 0x there. A little car contact. Mm-hmm. No harm, no foul.
Yes, and we walked away from it. The McLaren's bumper is still on. You know, that thing is made of paper mache, I feel like, sometimes.
Mazzolo is not letting up.
Well, he did put himself on what became pole after Jonathan Schwartz decided to start from pit lane as well. So I think, one, that he is not trying to let go too far. Kind of tossed to the outside line of turn number 1, which is never the place you really want to be, I think, when you're going too wide through some of this. It makes the look back into Sunset Bend. I think this could be a pretty fun pass, depending.
Nick Tyrrell just kind of lets him slide on by, not putting up too much of a fight. You know, you can hang it around the outside in Sunset and make it work, but yeah, 6 minutes into the race, not the time to try that.
No, I think not as well. I think Nick trying to minimize the amount of time that he's losing and keeping the gap that he's built up with Nico Mazzolo to Kevin Hayes and Nate Sides, especially now that Nate Sides has cleared Tim Shafer. In the background of this, got a blinking out of Tim Shafer, maybe not the happiest with how that all went down. Luke Plaisance also going to slide by amongst those drivers. Keith Gwinnett going to join those early pit lane stops. Due to mechanical issues, we'll see where he comes out of all of this. But the championship battle there right on screen for just the briefest of moments before Nick Tyrrell leaves the screen for those 3 drivers. And I think how it's set up, it's one that if Nick Tyrrell keeps the consistency here, he will, I think, be the successful one at the end of the day.
Yeah, it'll be.
You're in. Finish it up, and then I got a question for you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's gonna be fun to watch the lap times and keep an eye on this gap and see how well it comes down as the tires start to heat up, get a little bit greasy, and people start pushing a little bit.
Absolutely, I think it'll be fun to see who makes an error first out of these 3 drivers as well. It's going to be a huge part in whether or not this championship battle continues the way it's gone, or if we have to get the drop rounds involved a little more seriously. When you are either Nate Sides or Kevin Hayes on kind of the aiming to pick up the pace a little bit and catch up to Nick Tyrrell or the driver that is leading this championship, what is the mentality you have to develop in order to be, have that kind of be consistent and successful at the end of a 90-minute endurance like this?
Man, speaking for myself here, it's like if I'm trying to run somebody down,
Dan, I'm gonna hit the brakes early so you can go by.
I get angry. It's like I'm mad they're in front of me, and I want nothing more than to catch them and pass them. And it's kind of get that weird pleasure out of running somebody down and making a move on them. So just kind of get the bit between your teeth, so to speak, and drive hard, but smart and smooth and safe. 27 different things all at one time. Welcome to sports car racing.
Yes, you do. It's do all of these things all at the same time, and make sure you also can know how to juggle pretty well.
and do some math while you're going through a corner at 140 miles an hour.
Something like that. Gap between Tom Leeson, Zachary Holden closing down. Chris Gardner now right behind him as well. We have some lap traffic amongst all this. Not mistaken, it's going to be Alex Lofi, who's the pro driver, who's trying to stay out of the way of the championship battle, I think, here between these drivers. Zachary Holden getting a pretty good early run in that Acura. The Acura, we don't see much in, I think, GT3 driving and iRacing a whole bunch anymore, but it was very fun to see, I think, for most of the season, all the big portion of the AM drivers driving the Acura for this one.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. That car can be quick. I never really could mesh with it too well. I didn't spend a lot of time in it, but I can definitely see the appeal of driving it. Great cockpit. It does have a pretty unique feeling to me that I guess once you get used to it works. As we see Zachary Holden
pretty nice screen
make it
too.
work. Yes, exactly, right?
Absolutely. The GT3s, the dashboard, they get always digital these days. Alex Lofi trying to figure out how to stay out of the way, but also keep up the momentum. They all have usually digital dashes that display a variety of information, such as tire pressure, temperatures, gauges, and all sorts. How much fuel you've got, how much fuel you use in a lap, and some of them are better laid out than others. I think it also comes down to a huge part to personal preference for those as well. Do you have a favorite dashboard of the GT3s? I'm now just curious as we're watching these cars continue to battle, as Nate Sides really making up time amongst all this. So if we pause this to talk about racing for a little bit and we come back to it, more than happy to do so. It looks like Nate's got a pretty good speed coming up. And Kevin Hayes, he seems to be struggling a little bit now that those tires are now nice and warm. Talk about that grease on the track because that temperature, I think it's starting to affect it maybe a little bit.
Yeah, coming out of the chicane down there, he was doing a little bit of wiggling, saw some dust fly up. That corner is just tough. It seems like you can go through there, think you're nailing it, going fast, and just watch your delta go red. And then other times you go through there and it's like, man, that's slow. Come out green, so fun corner. It's fun to watch, fun to spectate. I've stood there for 8 hours during one race, and it's fantastic.
It's like Sebring seems like a lot of fun to watch races at, which I think is the appeal, obviously, from a spectator sport side of things, is that it seems like there's a lot of accessibility on the track as well.
There is.
So it makes it a lot really fun from a spectator sport standpoint, and being a spectator at it, you get to really experience as much of the cars and stuff as you can, minus stepping in one yourself. Yeah, that car looks a little loose on him there at the end of Sunset as well.
It's
Kevin Hayes.
pulling the gap out a little bit more here, though, so that might be a difference in maybe some downforce. Run some different wing angles and see if Nate Sides closes it back up as they get into the more technical section of the track.
Similarly, engine placement cars, so handling characteristics, I think not too different between those two, the McLaren and the Ferrari. Kind of similar to the Acura that we talked about earlier. Obviously have some of their own unique quirks. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh man.
Somebody say Richard Burns rally?
Somebody I think definitely took a racing line from Richard Burns and tried to apply it to iRacing, because that was some fun off tracks there from, I believe, Dan Griffin and Jonathan Schwartz, who are working their way back up through the order and getting around Alex Lofi, who is still trying to keep out of harm's way for the most part. Obviously, the 200 force racers doing what they do best, which is incredibly consistent fast runs, but having some fun with it from the back of the field this time by. I definitely think they were keeping up with some Richard Burns rally lines for some fun of it.
Just putting on a show.
Which I think is part of the goal, at least, not all of it.
Meanwhile, while these two guys kind of, I don't know, stare each other down, Nick Tyrrell is putting in some good laps just in front of him. A couple tenths faster. Well, he was until this time by, so the gap should start closing then.
Yeah, according to the math, the gap should close a little bit. Kevin Hayes seems to be continuing to get some off tracks there in turn number 1. Hopefully that doesn't add up to a drive-through penalty. 17 incidents between yourself and a drive-through, and I think it's definitely one that we'll see probably play a little bit more of a factor here than most other weeks, as people are really pushing to get the lap times here, but not far in the distance. The headlights probably still in Nick Tyrrell's either real or I say real being the in-car mirrors or the virtual mirror you get in iRacing. And so one that he'll keep on, I think, trying to build that gap if we can from where those two are.
Check back in on the AM battle now.
I don't know if you can keep an eye on the relatives here, but these three are now all within a few tenths of each other. And in addition to that, we also have Dan Griffin and Jonathan Schwartz trying to work their way through as well. So a two-way fight is going to become a three-way fight, as Chris Gardner is going to lean on the door of Tom Leeson. That inside line becomes the outside line, so we'll have to tuck back in. Get set to go down the back straight into Sunset Bend. You can use so much of the runoff there as kind of the racing line. It always looks so weird to me seeing a car, fully put all of its car on the outside of the white painted line, but have it be technically the fastest way to go that way.
Yeah, it was quite an adjustment, when they put in 3 curbs as well. The amount of shake you get coming through your wheel running out there can be concerning sometimes, and you might trigger traction control, so you just got to make sure you have your car set up to handle it.
Fantastic onboard shot. You can see some of that dashboard like we were talking about. Zachary Holden gonna get kind of hung out to dry there. I don't think we quite saw it from the onboard, but I think they were going pretty much too wide into that corner, and he had to let up to not run too far off line, and both Dan Griffin and John Schwartz slipped through as a result.
hard on the brakes. Always fun watching the brake rotors glow as Dan slipped to the inside there while we were inside the car.
Another fun one. I think Chris Gardner in a very interesting spot of being in a 104 sandwich. Maybe not the one that he wants to be in, but good. Seems to be doing all right for the moment.
Gap in the pro battle has not changed.
Not really.
Still 4
The
tenths.
gap between Hayes and Nick Tyrrell, though, is opening up a little bit. As continues to put about a few tenths there, but this battle for the GT3 AM podium spots now seems to be intermixed with two different 104 GT3s. Still working their way around. Jonathan Schwartz really late on the braking, getting that car swung around the outside. See the reflection of the sun off all those cars as we get into the late afternoon.
The old, what is Tom Leeson? Is that Danger Goose?
Yes. Yep. Danger Goose. I forget which team edition that is. So let me pull out real quick. I can. It's gonna be Danger Goose Racing. Not the ridiculously long titled one that we've seen in previous years or seasons, I should say.
I've got a feeling that Nate Sides is gonna try to make a move here in the next 2 to 3 laps.
The gap continues as it is. Definitely, I think, is starting to see the time get lost to Nick Tyrrell. Nate Sides also wants to take, see how many points he can gain over Kevin Hayes.
Yeah, I didn't even do the math on how they need to finish to determine who gets second.
Yeah, I think in the math on that one's pretty simple. Again, if we're talking about that, this in the vacuum where there's no drop rounds applied, it's whoever finishes ahead, with the requirement being that if Nate Sides finishes ahead of Kevin Hayes, he has to put, I think, at least one more car between him to get over that and keep a safety bonus to net out enough points to be victor of those two positions. And then if they finish high enough as well and Nick Tyrrell finishes behind both of them, then there's an opportunity there to leapfrog if the drop rounds favor them. I'm also curious if Nate Sides not playing a fuel strategy, as we know good hosts of those drivers there to do to some degree. I think we have one of our big first crashes of the night. Mitch Ventura looks like he's had a huge off. I wonder if I can take a look at what happened there.
I would say that was a huge off.
That will be. Yeah, look at that. It's going to be a huge bounces off the tire barrier, something fierce that absorbs all that impact of that inertia and movement. The car comes to a screeching halt.
Oh.
We'll see him come back on track, but I think he'll probably end up parking that because that car is a little bit done on the right-hand side.
Yeah, those tires are they're not made of marshmallows, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate. So he does have the fast repair once he gets towed back to pit lane, so we'll see him probably jump back out on track is going to be the goal.
Are we going to see a... We're not going to get to the sunset, are we?
Not quite. I think we're going to be a little shy of it.
Which is probably good news to everyone's eyes.
Especially those with HDR enabled or available for the monitors. Oh, I have to deal with that. I'm moving over to triples from VR, and then we'll have to contend with HDR.
It's fun.
I'm not sure I believe that statement at face value.
Well, if you enjoy some realism, then you'll enjoy it.
That's true. All right, I do enjoy realism.
The 8 side's going to send it around the outside, potentially.
Luke Poisson's going to try to capitalize on that as well.
Oh, I bet Nate is thinking, like, what? Come on, Luke. What are you doing here, man?
Definitely, I think, a little bit frustrated. Kevin Hayes is going to end up getting a little bit of time out of that one, but in the process, I think, unfortunately, just slowing everybody down. Big wiggle out on Nate's sides as well. Amongst all this, Tom Leeson has crashed. What? He's down in third, but he's labeled as crashed on the sim. What happened here? Let's see if we can pop up a replay. Okay. Tim Schaefer, Chris Gardner, also in this shot. Wonder if it's a slide off.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Do we have any contact? Oh, goodness.
Whoa. Just avoids it. Does he make contact with the barrier? Yeah, you have to.
This is your AM leader sliding into the barrier.
I'm going to pull him in the chat here and ask him how the car's feeling. Probably.
Hello.
How's the car feeling?
Car's not bad. Steering wheel's a little tilty, but other than that, I'll be alright.
All right. We got another.
A little less than, and not trying to brake and turn going into Sunset Bend too hard.
Yeah, the whole string theory, I believe, applies pretty judiciously there.
Yeah, I got a little bit excited trying to take the inside line there on Tim Schaefer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I can work with this at least until fuel stop comes.
Certainly, we'll see that probably, I think, probably sooner rather than later is going to be my guess, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, guess I'll wish you luck. Still in third in class, all things considered.
I like to hear that. I think I have to stay within 2 positions of Zach. We both took the safety bonus, so.
Yep. Right now you're in that margin.
Yeah. So I just got to stay in this little bubble right now. And try to hold on to the back end of him before he gets too far away.
Yes. All right. Well, Nick, do you have any questions for him before I let him get back to his race?
No questions. I just want to say good luck and don't do that again.
Yeah, I don't plan on it.
All right.
Enjoy it, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Tom Leeson, currently still battling for the AM podium, much like these two are battling for the pro podium spots, as they swap places back and forth. Nate Sides is probably not super thrilled about this. Luke Poisson's trying to throw his hat into the ring as well, going to that corner. Continue to take it too wide. A bit of an off track there, but a bit of a wiggle out of Kevin Hayes. Luke Poisson's got to capitalize on it, try to split the difference. Luke Poisson's got to lean on the door. Nate going to break on the outside. Luke Poisson's going to force Kevin Hayes around the long way. Bit of contact there, door to door. Nate Sides finally gets the move done.
Yeah, he said, "See you guys later. I don't want any more of this." This battle,
Believe that yeah, those two I don't think are done either. That battle for that position in terms of the actual passing on track began at Sunset Bend half a lap ago at this point.
yeah, it was some fantastic driving. Good, hard, clean racing. You know, a little bit of rubbing, but that's just perfect. It's what you get when you're trying to go too wide here for a quarter of a lap.
Very true. Meanwhile, gap between Nick Tyrrell and Nate Sides now sitting at about 5 seconds, but that gap looks like it's coming down just a little bit. Gorzola got to get around amongst all this as well. Gosh, most of that lead all in its own race. Trevor Peterson lapped down one of the drivers in the AM category, had an incident a little bit earlier on. We're going to try to stay out of harm's way as these three drivers come driving, tearing back through.
Not sure what happened here.
I wonder if it snagged the pace car for some reason.
I believe it did, yeah.
Then kick it over to Scenic Cam. But Trevor Peterson gonna allow the rest of these three through, I think. Luke Besant's desperate to try to find a way around Kevin Hayes.
So, Sebring, not your favorite.
Oh no, I don't like driving this track. I love commentating on this track, but in terms of driving, least favorite. Still my least favorite.
Not enough
For
elevation.
the same reasons I love. Yeah, lack of elevation is a big one. And I feel like half the corners are 90 degrees, one way or the other.
That's fair.
Which isn't technically accurate, but when you go through them, lap after lap, they get old. In the bumps. The bumps are like the final nail in the coffin is the bumps.
Speaking of bumps, I watched John do a IndyCar race at Detroit, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
That was. I saw a car come off the ground.
Mm-hmm. And come off the ground just driving. Yeah, you can easily do that at Belle Isle. It's wild. Pesant's not one Kevin Hayes to go without a fight. The thing I love about this track, the thing that people often reference to this track when they talk about it to me is they're like, oh, it has such a great racing. I'm like, to be fair, every track I think we've commentated this season has had great racing because the drivers have been great, regardless of what track they're at.
That is a very true statement. Put good drivers on any track, and that's what you get. So that's a good testament to every single one of these guys driving tonight.
For certain. And the whole season and all the drivers we've seen over the course of that season as well. Most of them here tonight, I believe. Got a handful of them that are with us in spirit due to a bunch of other reasons. As Luc Besants makes the look, tucks back in, continues on. Kevin Hayes keeps running that corner a little bit wider than Luc Besants does. And Luc Besants is able to kind of capitalize on the time there as they get into Tower Corner.
Every time I think the gap's getting a little bit bigger and we can run through the field, it heightens right back up.
It certainly does. Another driver to keep an eye on for a hard charge up through the field, Landon Orr, getting, I think, fourth in class after a pretty fantastic start from pit lane. battling with Wesley Woods. I think we just got around not too long ago.
Yeah, he's up, 8 positions on the day. Making that Ferrari run through the field.
Mm-hmm. I think he's still using his backup sim wheel because his main one, I believe, is still down due to a hardware failure. And the JB weld he used was not the correct JB weld, according to sources.
Oh no, I saw that so it didn't fix it.
Didn't seem to, at least, from what he was talking about earlier. Oh, Poisson's going to make the look once again. They're an over-under out of Kevin Hayes. Not quite.
Kevin Hayes protecting the inside. Textbook. They can go the long way. These guys, if they keep messing around, they're about to have some company.
Yeah. Give them a little bit of time, and they will be joined by, I think, a couple of 100 Force drivers that we've seen kind of working their way up the order, huh?
Yeah, they are, what is that? A few seconds back now. You can see them there in the distance.
Yeah, I think it's 6 overall between Luke Poisson and Dan Griffin.
Nick Tyrrell holding steady at that 4-second mark. Although it seems to be... No, he's fine. It was dropping a good little bit there. Thought we had technical issue.
It'll fluctuate a little bit. Nope. Managed to keep it together, whatever the error ended up being. Do you see Nate Sides slowly chipping away time there? Gap in terms of the lap time, I think about a few tenths, towards Nate Sides' most recent time by. I think that's been pretty consistent until that point. And this battle back here keeps that gap behind him as well, about the same. And you see not far behind them, rapidly closing that distance. It's going to be the 2 100 Force drivers. And then you get lap traffic of Trevor Peterson, who's desperately trying to see what he can learn from all those pro drivers that have just gone by him.
I know everybody seems to be a little comfortable right now, but all it takes is one safety car to bunch everybody back up and make it a whole new race.
It is all it would take. It's going to be a very interesting bit of spice to add to this. Should it happen? The timer goes off for us.
We haven't mentioned this guy much, Andrew Slovak, your leader, by 4 seconds over Nico Vizzolo. Just keeping it simple, keeping it clean, and setting the fastest lap of the race last time by 59.9.
He's got that Ferrari, I think, lined up quite well. Couldn't put it quite together in practice. Saw him start in 3rd, but as a result of John Swartz starting from pit lane, he ends up inheriting kind of a front row position. And because he had that inside line, just got to capitalize on that and stuck with it. And has really kind of run off with it since then. So we see the photographer off to the outside of the hairpin, getting some photos in.
Putting in some hard work. Shout out to Scoot Liveries for this fantastic looking Corvette.
They did a fantastic job with that. I think as well as, so many of the liveries that he's done over the years.
Nick Tyrrell. Championship drive going on right here. Plenty of clean air. Just making sure to keep it on track. Watch the off tracks. Get to the first pit stop. Check that box. And then look for the checker flag. Although Nate Sides appears to be closing in quickly.
Thereabouts. It's been about a few tenths a second, a few tenths a lap, which has added up slowly over these past few laps. We'll see it continue to do so, I think, for a little while. I wonder if there's a fuel margin or a pit strategy also being employed by these drivers. Though, as we say that, Nick Tyrrell setting his personal best only by a few hundredths faster than his other personal best before that, and still 0.2 slower than Nate Sides behind him.
These two decide to start fighting again. I thought they were too wide going into turn 2 back there.
I think they were. I think they're, Luke Poisson's basically getting every opportunity that he can in the process.
Thinking about it, we have Hayden Maminga listed as crashed.
Oh no. Yeah, let's see.
That is your 3rd place AM in the season points. Let's see what happens. Turn 1 strikes
We
again.
see something. Seems like it. There it goes. Keeps it out of the wall, though.
Okay.
A little bit of her pride, but other than that, car seems to be quite stable. These two continuing to quote chew down the time to Luke Poisson and Kevin Hayes, huh?
It's getting close. At this point, though, I'd imagine Kevin Hayes is probably welcoming that. That way he can get some help fighting off Luke. Maybe get some separation between them, give him some breathing room. And
Tomlinson, I think, our earliest pitter, coming in and get that car put back together, use that fast repair. And see, I think the rest of the field worked their way in somewhere over the next 20 or so minutes. And they will be fueled to the finish.
Yo, Kevin, we're losing time, bro. What we're gonna do about this?
what was the gap that Holden needed to beat Leeson by?
Probably the same thing I did before,
7
right?
positions?
I think it was 3 positions and a safety bonus. So right now, I think after the pit cycle, Tomlinson has to make up at least 2 spots. So I think he'll come back out right in between Landon Orr and Tim Schaefer, which I think is where he went into pits in the overall standings. So Zachary Holden has to keep that gap pretty much to the. See how many more he can keep in between him and the drivers in front of him.
It's gonna be close. So Alex Lo-Fi is not in the standings correctly.
Yes.
Tim Schaefer's having a bit of a rough day. We've seen him be up at the front of the field quite a bit this season in his last race as a rookie for pro.
Mm-hmm.
Does,
it has been one he's been struggling with, I think, a little bit this season. We missed a little bit earlier, I think. Poor Michael Doyen in our chat was mentioning the battle between him and Mitch Bonaventura earlier on. But it's been a bit of a war of attrition and trying to minimize damage there for him. Started 9th, was only kind of slipped backward as a result of some multi-class as well as in-class battling. Leslie Woods keeping Landon Orr honest as they try to catch up to some more of the drivers there. Grayson Park's going to join those in the pit lane.
Sergi Perot, tough day, down 7 positions. Saw him have that early contact with the wall that sent him kind of just tumbling down the field a little bit.
Yeah, I think much similar to what we saw with Tom Leeson, as well as, to a lesser degree, Hayden Mamenga. He's going to be one that he'll have to crawl back from and grab a quick repair or fast repair at the pit cycle, see if he can have a hope of getting back up the order.
"45 minutes in." I imagine some guys will go to probably, what, the 52 to 55 mark, maybe?
Probably. I would have to imagine we got a couple that want to go all the way to 58 or whatever their laps will say that they can't make it to the back to start finish line.
Andrew Slovak still holding on to that 4 or 5 second gap over Nico Vizzolo. Got your popcorn ready?
That I do. I was just checking my couple of things there, but this popcorn is, I think, just about finished.
Oh, Kevin
There he
Hayes.
goes. Kevin Hayes almost getting loose across all that. He's going to get passed by Luke Plaisance. Wonder if some net code brought some contact there, but both John Schwartz and Dan Griffin are going to get around as a result. He definitely looked like he got loose of his own accord amongst all that, but he was flashing like he didn't.
Let's go back and take a quick look at that.
Yeah, we got enough time.
Yeah, he just...
Yeah, it seems like he gets loose on his own. And I think he's tries to avoid Luke Poissons? Either way. Dan Griffin getting real close there into the braking zone of the hairpin. These four drivers now under a blanket, under about a second and a half of each other in total. Dan Griffin looming, waiting for the opportunity to lean on the door in the braking zone. You see this continue and simmer down for a moment. Wesley Woods getting around Landon Orr amongst all this as well. Curious to see how that path came to be.
See if we get the over-under here. Luke holding it tight, kind of blocking that.
Yeah, parks it almost.
Let's take a quick look at that pass. Wesley.
Looks like a pretty fantastic run from Wesley Woods here. You see him pop alongside, a slow exit from Landon Orr. See the two of them side by side. Don't know if it was intentional or not. The gap there, but then late into the brakes, a little bit deeper, gets it stuck in, and then just powers out on the exit. Inside line, turns the outside line, turns back into the inside line. And he keeps the foot in to keep that position ahead for the time being. Meanwhile, these two are going to really squeeze each other out. Just going to hang it around the outside, keep the power down. Dan Griffin's going to get a better exit for the time being. Just going to keep alongside him. Dive on in. Still too wide. Jonathan Schwartz going to try to see if he can't find his own way around amongst all this. Kevin Hayes getting a chance to get back into it. And Luke Poisson's going to tuck in just between those two. What you got?
Oh, I was just about to say, yeah, slamming the door right there in John's face, saying, "You're not going to pass me, not right here, not right now."
That he's not letting another driver also get through. And Kevin Hayes almost looking like he's bump drafting Jonathan Schwartz down to Sunset Bend.
Eat my dust, Nick.
Landon Orr giving him the shoulder going into Sunset.
Give me some of that suck, Nick. You let me hold this position, sure.
No, he wants to get back by. Use the
We both know it really doesn't
all
matter.
of the car wets to do so.
Did you happen to catch any of the voice chat from Nate Sods there?
I did not. What was said?
I don't know. I had it muted. I just saw his name pop up, and as it clicked, well, maybe that's what he was talking about. Maybe he was telling Nick, it's like, hey, I'm here.
Let me turn mine on so that way I can.
This gap has closed down.
That it has. Down to 3/10. Lap last time by, still only a few tenths faster for Nate Sides over Nick Tyrrell. Come back down, start finish stretch. 10 minutes left, I would say, before they have to come in for the pit cycle. 40-ish minutes left.
Nate Sides is looking to check off one of his boxes for tonight. Just finish ahead of Nick, and whatever happens, the Nick behind him is kind of out of his control, but he has to finish in front of him.
That's the goal. See where everything else applies, but Nick Tyrrell not going to make it easy on him, I'm sure. We've got a 10-second gap to Dan Griffin. Luke Plaisance still holding up. John Schwartz amongst all that as well. Wesley Wood's going to join those in the pit lane. Third driver to hop in.
Hey, did I disappear for like 5 seconds?
Me too. I kind of shit myself, not gonna lie.
No, you're good.
Nick Tyrrell questioning if he disappeared, so maybe he's starting to see some connection issues on his end, or maybe those imaginations are starting to fire up. Yeah, you're hearing weird things, seeing weird things, noticing things you never noticed before.
It's always so interesting what your brain chooses to prioritize as it tries to bring more awareness, and as more adrenaline kind of hits the system, how that looks. Nate Side's going to pull in early for the pit cycle. We'll see him take that opportunity just ahead. Andrew Slovak going to also join him from the lead of the race. Two drivers there, still working through it. Luke Plaisance continuing to pull out the stops to not let Jonathan Schwartz by.
Chris, I'm going to be sitting here.
These drivers all change hands. Tony Caicedo also on the radio.
Sorry, Dan.
It's been since season 9 since Nick Tyrrell won a GT3
Wesley, please let it go.
OMEC championship.
That it has. Material. Our first, I think, not back to back, but second time winners. Should he be successful? Mixed traffic also adding into the endeavors of the evening as Wesley Woods tries to stay out of everybody's way. Zachary Holden going to join those coming out of pit lane. Interesting to see, keep an eye on how far back Tom Leeson and Zachary Holden end up being from each other.
Let me see, is that coming out of pit and Tom coming on the straight.
Yeah, so that gap closing down pretty significantly. A couple of lap traffic cars as well hopping through. Margin closed back down. And Tom Leeson now right behind Zachary Holden in terms of the on-track position, which will mean that the position for all those will be decided then. Luke Plaisance and Jonathan Schwartz going to be diving into pit lane. Joining Nick Vazzolo as well as Nick Tyrrell, who have already popped in this lap as well. Whole host of drivers making their way down the pit lane as we get into kind of the closing stages of that pit window. We talk about a 52 to 55 minute, and we've got a few more trying to stretch it as much as they can. I think we'll see a good portion of the field that hasn't already start working their way down. Chris Gardner going to join those with the likes of the field. Saw the pit strategy call a couple laps early for Nate Sides. Be interesting to see where Nate Sides and Nick Tyrrell come out relative to one another. Nick Tyrrell managing to keep the lead for the moment, but it's about where it was prior to the pit cycle. Do you prefer the over or the undercut in those situations?
Oh, I tend to go over. I feel like I just get so nervous to do an undercut. But it also depends on the traffic. With all the nice tools we have at our disposal these days, I can see exactly where I'll come out on track. So if I'm trying to do an undercut, but the pit window is not there, and I'm going to come out in traffic, I'll just hold tight and try to go the other way.
Okay. Do you prioritize traffic over the proper overcut undercut strategy? That's the other question I have. Follow up as a result.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the kind of traffic that we're looking at. If it's some faster mixed class traffic, maybe not so much because they can kind of squeeze by you. But if I'm going to come out around some drivers, that might be a little bit slower than I am, but in the same class, a little bit harder to get by, then I'll definitely try to avoid that.
Okay, that makes sense. Meanwhile, last of the drivers I think that have yet to come in for stops are doing so now. Dan Griffin Carnays joining those on pit lane. And we'll see Andrew Slovak work his way back around and probably take over the lead of the race for the time being. Solid 5 seconds ahead of Nico Rizzolo. Jonathan Schwartz getting around Luke Plaisance in that pit cycle, if I'm not mistaken.
Can't pass them on track, pass them in the pits.
That is the way to do it. You can't pass them off track. We saw Nate Sides run really wide there.
Tim Schaefer, black flag. I would imagine that's for maybe a speeding or incident limit.
I think it's an incident limit for Tim Schaefer. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of a rough evening that is not made any better by the incident limit.
These two guys have been battling all season long. Only appropriate that they're running nose to tail right now, last race of the season.
So it's a blast to see. Pretty much, we've seen these two, I think, pretty much at some point or another, almost every race, swapping positions with each other, either battling for the position itself or worrying about the pit strategy that takes them back into that contention. Nick Tyrrell, a couple of races, starting from the back of the grid. He's going to get a little, not quite wide there, but darn close.
It's right on board with Nate Sides here for a lap. Curious to see if he cuts the curb here in the right-hander. Yeah, he's leaving probably a tenth on the table right there by not really hopping that curb into that first right.
Does it unsettle the car too much for that immediate left-hander to do so?
Not once you learn how to drive it. Just learning it, you can kind of get a little squirrely, but once you figure it out, it really opens up that left-hander, which again opens up the straight, and you just gain so much time coming down into the tight, bus stop corner down there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can easily pick up by the time you get down there, maybe 2, sometimes 3 tenths if you really nail it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But we're also going to see how flat this track is outside of the bumps.
Yeah, same goes for opening up that corner right there. You hop the curb on the left, gain an extra half car to a car. Really opens up the corner running onto the straight here and makes it a lot easier to set up some passing coming into Sunset.
Yeah, you can see how Nate
Oh,
is getting real close. That's a really loose Tiro right in front of him, though. They're both pushing pretty hard.
Fantastic job hanging on to that. That was a big one.
It certainly was. Seemed to add a little bit too much rotation into the wheel as well as the brake.
It's like John Schwartz has got around Kevin Hayes.
I think Kevin Hayes got around Luke Plaisance. John Schwartz. And those two are back behind Trevor Peterson. Came in early to get the car repaired after an incident. They're both trying to get past him once again.
I know Kevin Hayes is probably John Schwartz
Cool.
doing his rally impersonation again.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kevin might
Richmond's rally line worked so well the first time. He needs to do it again.
might not be happy with the P7 tonight, but looking at the season as a whole, most likely going to finish P3 in the championship. That's a good season. I've had the pleasure to race with him quite a bit the last few years, and it's good to see him put a season together.
I'm really excited that he's had a season where he hasn't spun out every race.
Exactly.
I think has been a huge help for him.
Yeah, he's always had a lot of good pace. Like you mentioned, just kind of struggle with some self-inflicted errors, but when he puts it together, he's right there with the best of them.
Yeah, especially now that I think he's done with the fuel margin. Really let it open up just a little bit and get a little more pace out of it. These two also still in a battle for position.
Into Sunset.
Ooh. Here's the look. Too much scrubbed off, I think, here. Means that Nick Tiro has to see the position. So he's looking to try to gain it back now.
So after all the pit cycles, Tom Leeson third place. Grayson Parks off the road back there.
He had an issue just a moment ago. Still working that car back around. Tom Leeson, this battle, I think, is one we're going to look and see the statistics of pretty exclusively. As I think we'll see him be able to hold on to it for the time being because he is still only 2 overall positions behind Zachary Holden. We see him right underneath him in the AM category, but one more likes of Sergei Perot in between the two of them at the time as it stands. He's got that car. Sergei Perot has that car booked together as well. I think Tim Shaver's bad night goes to worse after the pit lane issue, or the black flag for the incident limit, which I think Grayson Park's also slapped with at this point. See him with a crash and jump to the pits. But one we'll have to talk about, I think, in terms of a numbers game entirely, is Tom Leeson and Zachary Holden. And Zachary Holden's beautiful attempt so far to try to get another car in between him and Tom Leeson, but struggling now to keep up the momentum, to either catch up to Chris Gardner or really just catch up to Chris Gardner and try to put another car between him and Tom Leeson for that battle for the lead of the GT3 AM championship.
Zachary Holden's probably the biggest Landon Orr fan right now.
Yeah, Landon Orr about a second and a half behind Tom Leeson. See Tom Leeson there in the shot before we get to Landon Orr. Lap times, I believe, state that Landon Orr is about the same pace, maybe a little bit faster, depending on the lap time itself.
There we go.
Very nice. So the laps, the outlap for the lap that he pitted, which is a little bit of a hard one to really track as a metric. That 44 seconds is because of pit lane travel. But 2 laps faster, 1 lap slower, 1 lap equal speed. You can see those two continue to kind of stay around the same distance. Tom Leeson, I think, trying to do his best to stay well ahead of Landon Orr if he can. So the balance come back into the swing of things. Tony Caicedo, as well as Tyler Roberts. He's been pretty quick in the most recent couple of laps. He's now a few tenths behind Tony Caicedo. Project Zoomies. Liveried. Zoomies X Records, excuse me, I forget. They were teaming up with Kevin Hayes. Speaking of, we talked about a bunch this evening. Also, in a McLaren, much like his teammate. Race is quieted down. We've got about, I believe, just under 20 minutes remaining in the race. There's a sign of the safety cars. I think the window is rapidly closing if it hasn't already.
Yeah, inside the 20-minute mark.
And the gaps still within a second for a couple of these drivers. Multi-class traffic as well. So Nico Vizzolo is going to see him get roped back into a battle with Nate Sides. So Grayson Parks going to work his way, stay well out of the way of these 3 drivers that are now in a battle with each other. And when you're in the closing stages like this, 20 minutes left to go, still trying to chase down, past an opponent the closing stages. Is there anything new you do differently, or is it just more of the same? And keeping in mind the way that the car drives differently, especially now there's been, an hour and 12 minutes on the set of tires. Usually, I didn't think we saw anybody take tires in the pit cycle here this evening. And with that lighter fuel load and things like that.
Yeah, this is kind of the point in the race where you've been trying a lot of different things and you've kind of figured out what works, what doesn't work, as well as you've had a good chance to study the car in front of you. So I kind of make sure I take a deep breath, think about the tires, think about the car, think about the weight, and just make sure I'm doing nothing to hurt myself. Make sure I'm smooth and just really not trying to overwork the car. It's really easy to tense up and push and just, if you go right, 0.5% over that edge, you're going to go a lot slower. So just make sure you're being smooth, not overworking the car, and just keeping an eye on the relative and keeping your eyes up and watching for any kind of mistake.
Fantastic stuff. I think it's definitely the way I think all these drivers are kept up the momentum they have, especially Nate Sides here, still looking to try to battle with Nico Pizzolo here in the closing stages. Gaps still favoring, and the times and the relatives still favoring Nate Sides at the moment. Nico Pizzolo dealing with a little bit more lap traffic, like Jim Campbell, I believe, just ahead of these drivers. Zachary Holden also in a battle for position, the lead of the GT3 AMs this race. Take a look at the lap times there. Both these drivers driving a little bit faster than the Andrew Slovak, who's in the lead of the race. It may not be enough at this point, given the 6-second gap and how similar the lap times are.
Yeah, it also could be one of those situations where Andrew may have went slightly light on fuel, and when he's crossing the line, his fuel is telling him he doesn't have enough, so maybe trying to back up the pace a little bit to prevent the race from going an extra lap.
That'd be the way to do it. Just a little bit. Not enough to lose any positions, but enough to split the difference. Ken Marenga jumping back into pit lane. Torts having a brief off track as well. I think amongst all this, Kevin Hayes and Luc Plaisance back into a battle as well. I think Kevin Hayes had an off track.
Track has cooled drastically throughout this race. We started well over 100 degrees down to 87 now. So that's good news to the tires. It means they're going to survive.
That it will. We'll see these drivers still battling out for positions. Incident saw Luc Plaisance now back behind. Luc Plaisance ahead of Kevin Hayes once again. Is a slide in Sunset Bend that Kevin Hayes did. Tyler Roberts also getting around Chris Gardner at the back end of this. Well, I'm confusing in my brain Tyler Roberts and Zachary Holden for some reason. Must be more tired than I plan to be.
It's been a long season.
It certainly has.
Grayson Parks diving down pit road. I'd imagine for drive through.
I believe so, yes. Another one for him. The ball is Hayden Manga. I think just in pit lane. Calling it a night for him. As these two go too wide through the sunset bend. Chris Gardner keeping up the pressure. Oh man, going too wide into number 2. That is a battle that has continued for a little bit of time here. Tyler Roberts desperately trying to hold on to that position. Chris Gardner obviously not wanting to let it go. Few of these battles still raging on in the closing stages here. Luke Plaisance, Kevin Hayes haven't been able to get away from each other most of this race. Nico Rizzolo still losing a little bit of time every now and then to Nate Sides, both setting about similar lap times up at the sharp end of the stick. Most of the field a little spread out across all this. Trevor Peterson going to get out of the way once again. And multi-class traffic, or really lead lap traffic, to get out of the way and not be involved in that battle. Nate Sides now within a couple tenths of a second into the closing stages of this as well. And Nick Tyrrell going to capitalize to try to regain some of that time back to the fight with Nate Sides. I think Nick Tyrrell really just happy, I think, to keep ahead of Kevin Hayes, who's the driver I think he was probably most worried about amongst all this.
Yeah, I'd imagine at this point, Mr. Tyrrell is just enjoying the ride, taking in the view, and just watching some good racing going on.
Absolutely. Zachary Holden is still trying to put another car in between himself and Tyler Roberts as well. Still hang out with these two drivers, but he's caught up to Tyler Roberts and Chris Gardner, those two battling for overall positions as well. Zachary Holden knows that he has more of a chance at this championship victory if he's able to put another car between him and Tom Leeson in the closing stages. Got about a little under 10 minutes to get it done. About 5 or so laps left.
That's going to be,
I believe that is.
If he gets one more position, that may get him the championship, correct?
That was the conversation I had with Tom Leeson and Zachary Holden going into this. It's very possible if the gap opens up by more than 2 positions in the favor of Zachary Holden, that's where that championship can go. And I think the safety bonus as well is going to be huge for those two drivers, so I'm curious to see if both of them have it, if only one of them has it, and how that impacts that championship as well. So we'll see if Tyler Roberts and Chris Gardner can maintain the momentum, because Zachary Holden is there waiting in the wings to get a position as a result. Much like Nate Sides as well as I'd say Kevin Hayes still looking to resolve battles in their own thoughts on the racetrack over the course of this.
Getting real close to that wall.
I mean, I think that's part of getting a good lap time in, if I'm not mistaken.
That's all off track right there.
Oh, yeah. See if Tyler Roberts has a slowdown or another incident shortly after. Amongst all this as well, Kevin Hayes labeled as crashed. As we look at this, take a look at what happened here. This is going to be in the back half of the lap. Really get into that sector 2 after the hairpin. Late on the brakes, adds a little bit of rotation, too much throttle, and that'll see his car go sliding to a halt. We've seen this play out a few different times. Thankfully, he keeps out of the wall. No harm, no foul, but I think his attempt at getting past the likes of Luke Plaisance might be done for the afternoon.
Do believe that is sealed deal.
Tyler Roberts, Zachary Holden looking to make this dogfight go out to the end. Nate Sides and Nico Vizzolo as well. But I'd like to kind of keep an eye on this one for the time being. Closing down to the 5-minute marker, about 6 minutes left to go in the race. Probably about 3 or so laps based on the fact that Andrew Slovak has just started his 41st time around here. Sorry, his 42nd time around here.
3 laps for Zachary Holden to win the championship.
That is going to be a fun one. No pressure there for Zachary Holden. We probably shouldn't add any by adding him into the booth, should we?
Oh man, I would no.
All right, we'll let him figure it out on his own.
I think that's the first time I've even thought about not bringing somebody to the booth.
It's definitely like I think one of my second or third. I asked the question, but I also knew in my heart my answer was let him race.
Gotta keep the fans on the edge of their seat, right?
Mm-hmm. 3 times there. The gap opening up. Nico Vizzolo finding a little bit of time. Multi-class traffic gonna favor him for multi-class. Traffic in general favoring him a little bit there. But Zachary Holden, every opportunity here to make it happen. Almost loses it, looks like. Got a little bit loose there in turn number 3.
He's got to be aware of his standing right now, and he's got to know that getting around this car right here would give him a good chance.
I think he does. They talked about it beforehand in the party chat prior to the race. Both Zachary Holden and Tom Leeson did. So he knows pretty well that if he gets around Tyler Roberts, he has a very real chance of winning this one.
Tom Leeson's sitting there in a bubble, kind of by himself, so no pressure on him. It's all on Mr. Holden right now.
Yeah, Landon Orr is not coming to challenge either of that as well. Coming into Sunset Bend, late on the brakes for Zachary Holden, but he keeps it wrangled up, keeps it nice and tidy behind Tyler Roberts. We have, I think, one more lap to go here for these drivers. Maybe 2.
Looks like he's got a good run.
Tyler Roberts on the defensive line. Zachary Holden with the overspeed. Is that going to convert to a position? Fighting through it too wide through the chicane there at the end of the hairpin. They both are going to hang on for the moment. It's going to give him another outside line into turn number 7 here. Still sticking it around the long way. Is it going to come to contact? No. Tyler Roberts loses a little bit of time trying to keep that car from spinning. Zachary isn't in the clear just yet. Tyler Roberts wants to fight back for that overall position. They get through Tower Corner. Defensive move there, and then Tyler Roberts almost loses control of that car twice, trying to keep it out of the rear end. There's Zachary Holden able to kind of sail away as a result. That may be the deciding factor there in the GT3M Championship. Zachary Holden has managed to get around Tyler Roberts. One more lap to go to hold on to the position.
I am holding my breath.
I am as well, just a little bit. As it is a nail biter of a finish here for a few different championships. This one included. Zachary Holden looking to. What you got?
Oh, we still have not taken the white flag yet, have we?
I think this time by is our white flag here in just a moment. I'm here to look and get past the start finish line.
Needs a lap and a half, mistake free.
Yeah, the white flag is out this time by. Andrew Slovak is going to come around to start his final trip around. Zachary Holden still halfway through the lap, has to keep it consistent because, well, Tyler Roberts had a little bit of a moment there. He's not too far behind. 2 seconds the difference between those two, and that gap seems to be closing a little bit by a little bit. Nate Sides continuing to put the fight into with Nick Tyrrell in the background, trying to keep the damage to a minimum. Kevin Hayes kind of off on an island now that he's had a spin at the end of Sunset Bend earlier on in the back half of this race. Sees these three still, I think, pretty securely in their positions in the podium finish for those three. I think Nate Sides becoming the victor of the battle between him and Kevin Hayes. See Tom Leeson. See if he can't close the distance now on an island pretty much. And Zachary Holden, after getting around Tyler Roberts, still trying to hold the momentum and the gap as he has one more lap to do it with. He has about a 1.5 second gap between himself and Tyler Roberts. So pressure begins to mount for Zachary Holden as he gets through some of the more technical parts of this circuit and into the hairpin. As he does so, the leader will come back across to take the checkered flag. And Andrew Slovak will be your winner this evening. Off on his own. And Nico Bozzolo and Nate Sides going to go too wide down the start-finish stretch at the end of Sunset Bend to claim second and third. Fourth will be Nick Tyrrell. And then Dan Griffin, not far behind, going to be rounding out that top five. And John Schwartz, as well as a whole host of drivers working their way around. A lot of lap traffic also coming around to the checkered flag as well. 4 wide for some of those drivers.
I was creeping, John.
Luke Plaisance, Kevin Hayes working their way to the checkered flag as well. Rounding out our 7th and 8th positions, as well as we have some lap traffic there Tony Caicedo going to be in 9th, just ahead of the likes of Chris Gardner and lap traffic, I believe, of Grayson Parks. As Chris Gardner, I think, had to lift to save fuel. That's what it almost looked like for a moment there.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, wow. Big moment there. Maybe that's more what it was. It was a big old slide. Zachary Holden will take to the checkered flag here. I believe that means that we'll also net
Hey, you're
him
chasing me down,
the
man. Good race.
GT3 AM Championship. Not far behind. Tyler Roberts, Sergey Perot going to come across the
Good
checkered
season, folks.
flag as well. The two cars that split between Zachary Holden and Tom Leeson. Our two current battling champions. Two people aiming to battle for the GT3 AM Championship. We'll have to see what comes of the drop rounds and where the final points stand. Right.
That was exciting.
That was a heck of a race for those drivers. Fantastic result, I think, for all involved. Take us through a finishing order, and then we'll see, again, hear from someone about what the results are.
Let's get these things sorted appropriately. Start with GT3AM.
We certainly can. Likes going to be Chris Gardner going to take home the win in that category, about 10th overall, with the likes of Zachary Holden coming home in 2nd. Tom Leeson going to be home in 3rd, a few seconds behind, as well as Landon Orr in 4th, and Wesley Woods rounding out the top 5. Dale Marshall, Trevor Peterson, as well as Grayson Parks, Hayden Mamenga, and Keith Gwinnett are going to be your top 10. And then Keith Gwinnett and Ken Duvall are your two that do not finish. I believe Ken Duvall does not even start the race, despite putting in a pretty solid qualifying effort.
Hopping over to the GT3 Pros, Andrew Slovak. Trouble-free race from the drop of the green flag to the checkered flag. Kept out front all day. Good clean race. 5 seconds over Nico Vizzolo. Nate Sides battled his way up to P3. Taking home 3rd today. Nick Tyrrell, GT3 Pro Championship winner for this season. Doing what he had to do, finishing 4th. Dan Griffin and John Schwartz starting from the back. Find themselves 5th and 6th. Luke Plaisance 7th. Kevin Hayes did what he could. Put up a good fight. Unfortunately, just fell on himself. Dropping back a little bit. Finishing 8th. Tony Caicedo, Tyler Roberts, Sergey Perot, Jim Campbell, Tim Schaefer with a rough day, and Mitch Buenaventura 35 laps down.
Yeah, I think pretty much the incident there for Mitch Buenaventura spelled the end of his race, unfortunately. But a pretty fantastic end of the season. Spicy, I think, battles pretty much all the way to the checkered flag and how they impact the drivers. Trying to see if we got a here is where everyone's at moment yet.
So is Nick Tyrrell able to be? Where's he at?
Even league focus.
You don't think he wants to talk about winning a championship?
I need to also ask Kevin if we're going to get points here before we get done. Let me run down and ask them real quick.
Yep. So leave me alone in the booth again. Taking a look at the overall race results. And as you can see, Zachary Holden 11th overall with the 2 position gap between himself and Tom Leeson, which should be, gotta wait till the final points, but should be exactly what he needed to do to win the AM championship. It's going to come down to some safety bonus as well, but it's going to be close.
Wait, maybe. Nope. Move up there, and then Nope, too far. There we go. All right. Got both Kevin Hayes as well as Nick Tyrrell in the booth here for talk about championship standings.
You should probably bring Nate in
Yes. Let's do that.
because I think Nate may have actually got me
Ooh.
in the championship standings.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, I've brought all three of you in for all three podium setters for the end of the championship. How was the race for y'all? We saw a lot from the booth, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
My rear, I was low on grip in the rear the whole race.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all caught my
73.
two. I drifted sunset at one point. I don't know if y'all caught that. That was something.
I don't know if we saw the broadcast. I definitely looked at it because I was trying to figure out how you ended up back behind Luc Plaisance.
Yes, yeah. Luke was driving really hard. He was driving a good race, wasn't doing that much. And then I kind of to me was about to get his nose in, so I went a little off the rubber in sunset and got into the marbles and still gassed up as if I was on the sticky stuff. And I wasn't, and little hap spin there, so it happens. Yeah, so Luke got me. It was a good race though. Nate had ridiculous pace the whole damn time.
Yeah, he had me
Yeah,
covered by a half second on his quickest lap. 0.42.
I was-
Yeah, he's hauling.
I was on a quick lap at the very end of qualifying, and I saw it was going to put me in second. I didn't want to be on the outside for the start, so I let off and went into the pits. And then John jumped somebody jumped everybody and put me in fourth on the outside anyway. I'm like, gosh darn it.
Standings are up, Fen, and I was correct. You should pull them up.
I will. We will pull them up. Next Maynard.
Yeah,
You wanna hop over?
let me make sure I get
And then also-
Discord in in
Yes.
that scene.
Ooh, safety points are important. Had Nate had 7 more and I had 7 less, it would have been different story.
Yeah, my exes I use Fragrant.
Safety points on the season.
I believe so.
Dan.
Yep.
Dan. Track. He's going to use the whole damn track.
He does have
Mhm.
86 incidents.
But I believe, as the standings have been updated here, Nick Tyrrell, congratulations on winning the championship for season 15 in the pro category.
Thank you, fellas.
Congratulations.
With Nate Sides, you're leapfrogging by a decent margin when you include the drop rounds to Kevin Hayes.
Thank you.
So congrats all three of you on the podium finishes here. And then a well-earned
Oh shit!
celebratory.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Snake.
we're covering that here in a second, so
Sorry.
you're good. Final thoughts here from y'all. We'll let y'all celebrate some wins here in a moment and get into some well-earned downtime.
Down to the wire for top 3. You can't have any better than that, really.
I'll get Nick one day. Not any day soon.
Get you that rig. Yeah, get you that delayed wedding gift for yourself.
I realized after the race tonight that my wheels weren't locked, so I may have been rolling around a little bit during that whole thing too. I didn't even notice.
You're by far the fastest desk racer.
That's fair. I'll take that. No, the rig's probably still a year-ish away until I will be in a spot where I can actually put it. The money ready for it. I just need the location in the house. So maybe after we
It's a
move,
dining room table.
maybe after we move next June, there will be I will have an office that doesn't double as a guest bedroom and room for a sim rig in there.
Kevin's big announcement won't be a baby on the way. It'll be the birth of a rig in the room.
It really will be. And then I'm for sure get slower for about 3 months as I adjust to actually having real feedback. Shake the whole desk.
I'd like to say I'm looking forward to it for you, but at the same time, I'm not. it'll be good, especially for like all of our special events and team stuff. That's for sure.
Heck yeah. All right.
I know
Well,
your
once you get
IndyCar
back-
experience well. It's elevated.
Yes, that definitely will get elevated when you have a rig. Don't get an aluminum one. Whatever anybody tells you how good they are, they're dick and a pain in the ass to fucking set up.
No, they're awesome. You do it. It's so customizable and adjustable.
Yeah, sure. They're great when you get them when they're done.
Oh yeah, it took me a better part of I don't know, 2 days off and
Yeah.
on getting this one all together.
That's where I'm at right now. So I feel you.
So many extra pieces, which is always nice.
Mhm.
Got like boxes of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. All worth it when it's done, but the process
sure.
is.
Yeah, you and getting those slices on your hand if you miss somewhere.
Mhm.
Anyway,
But
Well, cool.
All right.
Go get the AM champion in here.
yeah,
Yes.
get their asses in here before they trail
Let
off
me get-
somewhere. Tim pulls them in.
get these two in them. All right. Now we're also grabbing in the GT3 AM podium sitters. Is Dominguez still around as well?
He should be down there.
Yes.
Look how close this was in AM.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is
Yeah,
Literally,
it was.
Safety
Yeah.
points made the difference.
It was.
Oh,
it was
man.
a fuck freaking season.
But yeah, like,
well.
congrats again, Zach. Like, that was a hell of a season.
Yeah,
It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun driving.
I
What was the-
appreciate it.
How's that drive for all of y'all in the AM category for tonight?
Outside of the
Pretty
spin,
good.
great.
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty good, honestly. Really, you gotta give some appreciation back because Tom found almost all of our setups this season, and it was as easy as me getting on iRacing and going, "Yep, this is the setup for this week," and just driving as opposed to having to worry about that. So,
Never
thanks
doing
again,
that
Tom.
for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's okay. I'll never drive the Acura again. So.
If you
Well,
want
and
another
if-
setup, you could sing for it.
I could
If-
pay for it.
But if our
yeah,
previous seasons are any indicator, we'll probably see you into the pro category from the sounds of it, Zachary Olden.
yeah, that's kind of what we were figuring.
Well,
well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Maybe.
you're working on the ELO thing.
There is
or a third group.
there
Yeah,
is
that's true.
potential of a brand new division coming in season 16. Still under conversation, but Landon has done with the website, and he's getting some more stuff done with the ELO, with the, I guess the O rating is what we might be calling it instead of the I rating.
Mm-hmm.
We might be able maybe have 3 very competitive championships beginning in season 16, particularly if we keep grid count to 35 cars. Could be very interesting. We shall see what happens. That will be a formal announcement potentially coming soon.
That's exciting
All right.
stuff.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm
Oh, very
glad
cool.
we're not
Yep,
driving
that was definitely a season.
Every time I get pulled in here after an hour and a half of driving, I'm just like, oh, my brain feels really smooth, guys. I hope you don't want anything intelligent.
No. I'm not asking you to do theorems and to think too much.
On behalf of everybody else, thank you
Postulate what?
for another season of broadcasting.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
Thank
Yep.
Nicholas for that. I've just shown up and talked this season.
Yeah.
That's all been him.
Well, both of you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. We appreciate being
Yeah.
able to go back and watch stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely go back and watch them all. Afterwards.
That's fair.
Do you grade yourself on your broadcasting performances when you're rewatching?
Well,
Not frequently.
That-
It just said
them
plus
or
every single
us?
week. They grade themselves, and it just says A plus every week. I
Yeah,
don't know how that works out. I investigated myself, and I found out I'm doing
Yeah,
a great
myself.
job.
Yep. I shall not be fired this week.
Internal affairs.
I will happily go back and watch a race, but I am terrified to watch a broadcast. I have yet to do it.
Oh boy, it's not that bad. You definitely should, because you also, I think, the thing that I've learned from, and this is, I think, true of, I think, any skill, is being, if you have the ability to reflect with either, you know, a tape of some kind or something like that to understand it. Goodbye, Kevin. I didn't want to talk with you about it anyway. No, but like any of those times where you get the ability to look back on something, whether it's driving or whether it's broadcasting, it is such a refresher in your mind to kind of relive the experience through that replay, whether that's, you know, a video, it's an audio one, and even if it's, you know, you're listening to yourself talk, or, you know, when you hit buttons on the production side as well. It's a good, I mean, it does the same thing that, you know, replaying your driving does. It gives you an ability to kind of go, what did I do great? What did I do awful? So I'd highly recommend it if you haven't done it already. For the same reason that you do any of your you look back at driving tapes to analyze and see where you can get better.
Well, we've got a season to review.
Yep. That we certainly do. But congrats again, guys. Any last thoughts before we kick this broadcast off to a celebration party and we get on out of here?
Thanks for the broadcast for all the week or all this whole season, and fun racing. Very fun
it's been
racing.
fun. It's been good the whole time. A lot of close races in AMs. It's fucking joy to drive against everybody again. Looking forward to next season already.
Can't wait for a couple weeks just to build up my anticipation of this again, and then on the road again.
Maybe a little more anticipation because you're not driving the Acura.
I'm not driving the fucking Acura, so
that's the big celebration. I think we're gonna spray each other with champagne because we don't have to drive this car.
Non-Acura branded champagne.
Yeah.
Why? So, why was the Acura chosen originally?
Because we're
shits
dumb.
and giggles.
It was
okay. Got it. Okay.
I suggested it. I think just before the season started, like we'd all pick different cars, and I was like, no, guys, we should do an Acura challenge where we all drive like equal machinery. It's actually see who's faster.
We were attempting to make a stock car series amongst ourselves effectively, and also be able to share setups and stuff more detailed than just like a Merc to a Ferrari to a Porsche.
Gotcha.
Was kind of the idea.
How would you rate your decision?
Poorly.
Honestly,
Well, I don't think there's
like
So
6 out of 10 probably.
yeah.
for the Acura itself, it was awful. We'll never touch this again because it's just a worse Ferrari. As far as having a group of other people who are all driving the same car and who you can kind of be like, what's working for you this week? That part was great. Like, not having to do all of that lifting on my own whenever I'm still at the point where I'm like learning a track every third week is great.
And I was saying to the guys before that race, the Acura kind of grew on me as time went on.
Just like that stock.
I won a couple of races. And I was starting to get used to it. Yeah. You just got to carry a lot of speed through corners because it doesn't have power on exit. But it means you can also kind of put your foot down and get it out of there. So
it was good.
Unlike the
3
Aston
seasons
that wants to
ago.
light him up so easy out of any turn. Oh yeah, it was really good, especially in the wet, like 2-3 seasons ago.
yeah.
Also, we
So
never did have a wet
Porsche.
race this season. Kind of upset about that.
yeah, I thought this one was supposed to be wet.
Well,
Maybe
Always
I'm crazy.
next season.
I didn't do the weather this season, so
Next season it'll be all wet except for one.
yes.
All wet
God.
and at night.
Monsoon
Yeah.
season.
It's
Wet
just a
and
different setups of raining Silverstone for some reason. It's like 6 weeks of raining Silverstone with different temperatures and time of day.
It's all different.
All
Right.
8 league
Rain.
numbers down.
Yeah.
All right. We'll let y'all get back to celebrating. Congrats again on the wins for both you, Nick, and as well as Zachary for the wins in the classes as well as the podiums for the rest of y'all. And we'll be back
I think
next
Tony and I
season.
might have pulled team too.
I think you did. I'm not entirely sure. Can we hop over the team standings?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was
Mr.
updated.
Maynard? Should also be.
Look at that, Zach. We got third.
Look at
Let's
that.
go. I didn't
Mystery
even know
Outlanders.
10 whole points.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, it was the combining of the two teams, so had to come up.
Mhm. Fantastic.
The least number of incidents in the top 10. Too. Go Tony.
Hey. Tony's come a long way.
Yeah, he only missed the 2 races when he was like out of town.
Mhm.
He was pretty consistent.
Yeah. And then he's also no longer murdering cars when he is here.
Yeah, he said in voice, he was like, I think I got like a safety bonus almost every race this season. I said, funny how that works when you join, huh?
So, all right. Well, we'll get out of here and let you all get back to celebrating your wins.
Yep. See you.
Congrats again. We'll see you all in a few weeks' time when we get ready for season number 16. Landon Orr, welcome to the booth.
Oh, I didn't realize I joined the broadcast booth. I'm so sorry. I thought this was.
I mean, no. This is the broadcast booth. Welcome to the broadcast booth. How was your race?
Thank you. It was actually really good. I started in the pits because I realized that right as the race started, I didn't have enough fuel, but I thought I did halfway decent.
I have
All
a
right.
bone to pick, Landon. I can't believe you
Oh.
couldn't get around Tom and make
dude.
my heart not have to beat so hard for like the last 10 minutes while I was fighting with Tyler.
I'm sorry. I was getting close, and I thought I may have a chance, and then I screwed it on one corner, and I gave up. I was like, all right.
I think I spent more of that last half an hour looking at my relative to see if you had made it around Tom than I did looking at the track.
I didn't look at the points here. I had no idea you guys were this close. Then I really would have pushed him.
I know. I saw you just lose it a little bit coming out of like turn 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I felt myself unclench because I think you had your last second.
Yeah, it's about a second and a half, and that was the same thing with me with Alex Lofi. Like he caught all the way up to me, and I was just sweating bullets. Like, 10 minutes left, let's get through it. And then like the relief you feel when the guy behind you spins off, it's amazing.
You didn't realize you were holding your breath for the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. So I take my shirt off now that is completely drenched in sweat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
With the right fan club, you could sell that thing, Landon.
OMEC sweat. I'll bottle it.
New energy drink coming soon.
Oh, God.
Well, put it
All
on
right.
the store.
Wow.
Buy the sweat from your favorite driver.
Oh, Mac,
Oh,
we're trying to get us out before we
God.
derail the chat.
Yeah, all right.
One
We're
announcement I'll
heading
make
off
real
of the
fast here.
broadcast.
Oh, one
What's
thing
up?
real fast.
Yeah.
O ratings. Your O rating gets
Mm.
updated tomorrow, so we will release that list of your overall rating for everyone.
Beauty.
Hell yeah.
Landon, I love the updates to the
Oh,
website.
thanks.
Website
To that
is
point, so we've got some time between next season, and I actually have free time for once. So if you have thoughts or anything that you want added, hit me up and let me know. I'm happy to work on it in the next couple weeks.
All I know is you're goated for the website. Like that is the.
Oh,
It's
I do
just
have something
amazing.
for you.
Works so good.
Yes.
I'll bother you
Asking
about
what
it
percent was
later.
5
Oh.
coded.
Sounds good.
Yeah. How much was
Uh,
vibe coded?
I won't ask.
All
I
of
want
it.
to know.
Every single, all of it. Everything.
Only thing I want to ask or suggest is amateur wins. Like if the amateur wins the AM class,
Yes.
could
Yeah.
we add that?
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay.
Yep. And I'll have. I think I'll have a report for that next week or tomorrow too.
Okay.
Like who won what and all those numbers and fun stuff. But yes, I fully agree with you on that one.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Any other notes from the
Podcasters.
admins?
Nope. Just thank you very much, Fen, and Nick looks like it's not here today, but thank you so much, you guys, for. Oh no, Nicholas is here. For doing such a great
I'm looking right at
job. No, I just too many people in here, but y'all did great. Thanks so much. I love that we do this every week. I look forward to it, and you guys make it that much more professional. So thanks so much, guys.
Yeah.
You're
Professionals
welcome.
are
I mean, it's no Devin and Marcus getting blackout drunk.
That's
but
true.
it's-
Yeah.
it's a
I'd
close
say we're
second.
definitely getting.
All right, guys,
we're at
another
least a little
drink
more.
break.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Fen. Nick.
All right. Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Steve,
So I think it was largely Nick this season. So anyway, let's get out of here. Take us out.